Here is a document checklist when you apply for US Citizenship test. All applicants must send the following 3 items with their N400 application. 1. A photocopy of both sides of your permanent resident card. If you have lost the card, submit a photocopy of the receipt of your Form I-90 application to replace permanent resident card. 2. A check or money order for the application fee and the biometric services fee. Write your A number on the back of the check or money order. You may also pay using a credit card. 3. If you reside outside the United States, 2 identical color photographs with your name and alien registration number written lightly in pencil on the back of each photo. Send copies of the following documents unless USCIS asks for an original. If your current legal name is different from the name on your permanent resident card, send the document that legally changed your name, such as a marriage certificate, divorce decree, or court document. If you are applying for naturalization on the basis of marriage to a US citizen, send the following 4 items. 1. Evidence that your spouse has been a US citizen for the last 3 years, such as a birth certificate, if your spouse never lost citizenship since birth, or certificate of naturalization, or the inside of the front cover and signature page of your spouse's current US passport, or Form FS-240, Report of Birth Abroad of a Citizen of the United States of America. 2. Your current marriage certificate. 3. Proof of termination of all prior marriages of your spouse, such as divorce decrees, annulments, or death certificates. 4. Documents referring to you and your spouse, such as tax returns, bank accounts, leases, mortgages, or birth certificates of children, or Internal Revenue Service, IRS, certified copies of the income tax forms that you both filled for the past 3 years, or an IRS tax receipt transcript for the last 3 years. If you were married before, send proof that all earlier marriages ended, such as divorce decrees, annulments, or death certificates. If you are currently in the U.S. military service and are seeking citizenship based on that service, send a completed original Form N426, Request for Certification of Military or Naval Service. If you have taken any trip outside the United States that lasted 6 months or more since becoming a lawful permanent resident, send evidence that you and your family continue to live, work, and keep ties to the United States, such as an IRS tax return transcript or an IRS certified tax return listing tax information for the last 5 years, or for the last 3 years if you are applying on the basis of marriage to a U.S. citizen, rent or mortgage payments, and pay stubs. If you have a dependent spouse or children who do not live with you, send any court or government order to provide financial support, and evidence of your financial support, including evidence that you have compiled with any court or government order, such as canceled checks, money and receipts, a court or agency printout of child support payments, evidence of wage garnishments, a letter from the parent or guardian who cares for your children. If you have ever been arrested or detained by any law enforcement officer for any reason and no charges were filed, send an original official statement by the arresting agency or applicant court confirming that no charges were filed. If you have ever been arrested or detained by any law enforcement officer for any reason and charges were filed, send an original or court-certified copy of the complete arrest record and disposition for each incident, dismissal order, conviction record, or acquittal order. If you have ever been convicted or placed in an alternative sentencing program or rehabilitative program, such as a drug treatment or community service program, send an original or court-certified copy of the sentencing record for each incident, and evidence that you completed your sentence, an original or certified copy of your probation or parole record, or evidence that you completed an alternative sentencing program or rehabilitative program. If you have ever had any arrest or conviction vacated, set aside, sealed, expunged, or otherwise removed from your record, send an original or court-certified copy of the court order vacating, setting aside, sealing, expunging, or otherwise removing the arrest or conviction, or an original statement from the court that no record exists of your arrest or conviction. If you have ever failed to file an income tax return since you became a lawful permanent resident, send all correspondence with the IRS regarding your failure to file. If you have any federal, state, or local taxes that are overdue, Send a signed agreement from the IRS or state or local tax office showing that you have filed a tax return and agreed to pay the taxes you owe, and documentation from the IRS or state or local tax office showing the current status of your repayment program. If you are applying for a disability exception to the testing requirement, send an original Form N648, Medical Certification for Disability Exceptions, completed less than 6 months ago by a licensed medical or osteopathic doctor or licensed clinical psychologist. If you did not register with the Selective Service and you are male and 26 years old or older and lived in the United States in a status other than as a lawful non-immigrant between the ages of 18 and 26, send Status Information Letter from the Selective Service,